Hello, my name is Free Happy Dolphin. As the open beta rolls out, I present you the fastest basics tutorial on Bazaar. Now, if we are talking about mastery, you might need to watch me play on Twitch or check a few full run videos I post on YouTube, but today we're focusing on the quickest way to get you playing the game right now. So let's jump in. Since this is a fastest tutorial, I'll assume you know how to click play and choose your first character. I'll also assume that the game is still constantly changing at lightning speed, meaning that your starting run options might differ. Previously you needed to select one of 3 items, but now we have kits where you're given a random set of items or benefits. Since this is subject of change, I will just mention this briefly and skip to essential mechanics that are unlikely to change. The first thing to understand is your playing board. This second big rectangle is where you place your items. These will fight against your opponent's items, which will be positioned in the first rectangle. If you click on chest in your bottom left corner, you'll see your stash, where your unused items are stored. Next is time. Time is measured in days, which are broken down in 6-hour segments. The number on the clock indicates day, and each of those bubbles represent an hour. During these 4 hours, you will be able to choose out of 3 options: a merchant, where you can buy items, a random special event, or another random option, which is usually just getting something for free. The lowest hour in the circle represents a PvE encounter, a monster fight. Again, you will choose from 3 options, usually arranged from the weakest to the hardest, from the left to right. The middle option gives you 1 more gold than the leftmost, while the rightmost gives you the most XP. You might pick one over the another, not just based on difficulty or rewards. Since monsters have fixed builds, this is a great way to target specific items for your strategy. How do you know what each monster has? Well, if you don't know that yet or don't remember, you can check everything on How Bazaar GG. One last thing about monsters: you only get XP and drops if you win, but gold is based on the HP damage you dealt at any point during the battle. These gold rewards are displayed on the HP bar and are instantly added to your pocket as you earn them. Now let's talk about leveling up and XP. So one way to gain XP is through monster encounters, like we just talked about. Another is from each hour bubble, which gives you 1 XP, and also through the special events. XP fills the bubble line below your character portrait. When it's full, you level up. Leveling up gives you more HP, a choice of certain bonus which actually changes with each level, such as loot that boosts your items, extra gold, or even item upgrades or enchants, which we will cover soon. And also one really important thing is more space on your rug. Well, what's a rug, you ask? Well, it's the smaller rectangle on your board. Actually, your starting board is much smaller, which is equal that a rug. As you level up, you unlock more space until you fill the entire board. If I can give you one small tip, it's crucial to level up. So getting any extra XP and winning monster fights is super important early on. Now let's talk about the top hour, which is PvP encounters. Here you will face another player's build in the battle or survival. If you win, you will fill the top bar of the clock with a win. Once you reach 10 wins, the run ends and you have the highest reward possible. Wins 4 and 7 also grant additional rewards, but if you lose too many times, the run might end early. Each loss reduces your prestige by the amount equal to the day's number. If prestige hits 0, you'll get to choose from some upgrades and have one last chance before losing this run. Each PvP encounter will be a ghost of real players' build. We're not playing right now, we played some time ago, but we're playing on the same day you are, so you have equal opportunities to be as strong as possible. After you fight them, your build takes their place for another player's match. That means that one build instance will be played only once after it's gone. 2 important rules to know about the combat is that first, if the battle isn't resolved in first 30 seconds, Sandstorm starts. Increasing attrition damage is being applied for both players. And the second rule is that all draws are counted as wins. After every encounter, that includes monsters as well, you can replay the battle or view item stats to adjust your build. After each PvP fight, the new day begins, at which point you will receive income, gold added to your total. Of course, there are different ways to increase your income throughout the run. Now that we understand the game's basic structure, let's talk about items. Besides the method buffets mentioned earlier, you can buy them from merchant encounters. Some merchants specialize in certain themes like non-weapons, only tools, and so on. You can sell items at any time also by dragging them to the chest at the top, usually for the half of their original price. If you don't like the selection, you can also re-roll the merchant's options for a fee, and usually you can do that only once per visit. Each item has its size. Small takes 1 slot, medium, large takes 2 and 3 respectively. Items also have 4 rarities: bronze, silver, gold, and diamond. High rarities have better stats, and you can upgrade an item by combining it with the identical or higher rarity copy. Also important thing are skills. Those are circles near your character portrait, and they work in the same way for upgrading, except they cannot be sold and they can affect full board. For example, give all healing items certain amount of heal, maybe triggering after something else triggers, and so on. It can be really broad and really impactful. Now, how item works. Every item has its own cooldown, the time required before it triggers again. Cooldowns run independently of each other, that means everything goes off at the same time, but those can be changed and reduced by loot or passive effects, or maybe even item synergies. Now let's break down core mechanics. What are those things that items can do? First is damage, indicated by number in a red background. It's damage in the simplest meaning, it lowers your opponent's HP. Items can also have crit chance, and this doesn't only belong to damage, but at any point this is the chance to double its effect. We have shields, indicated by yellow background, which absorb incoming damage and are being put on top of HP. It can stack without limit. Healing, in light green, restores HP up to your max HP and removes 1 stack of burn or poison per trigger. We will cover those really soon. Next is Regen. It's being shown with light green on your HP bar. It restores HP over time once per second, but does not remove any burn or poison, unlike healing. And also we have Lifesteal, dark cherry red color, which restores HP based on your damage dealt, but also doesn't work like healing, so it doesn't clean anything. Now let's talk about those burn and poison mechanics. First, burn is indicated by orange background, deals damage twice per second, reducing it by 1 with each tick. It stacks. So for example, applying 10 burn, then another 10 burn creates total of 20 burn. And how does it actually apply? Well, here is the example. If you have 10 burn, it will be 10, 9, 8, 7 until it goes to 0. Well, if that was 10 burn and you apply 10 another, it will be now 20, 19, 18 and goes on like this. And shields actually protect from burn damage. Poison in dark green background works like burn for stacking, but it bypasses shields. That means you can hit 0 HP with having like million amount of shields and die. Another 2 things to know is it applied only once per second, not twice like burn, and it does not reduce over time. So it has its own pros and cons. Whatever you choose, usually burn is easier to get, but it's less powerful, and poison is more powerful over time. Now let's break down cooldown mechanics. First is haste, represented in green number on the upper half of the item. It basically doubles cooldown speed for certain amount of seconds. Slow does exactly opposite in red number, and in the lower part of an item it halves cooldown speed. That means that if both being applied, well, they'll cancel each other out. Next, freeze and charge. Freeze, stop item completely for a set of time. Basically, passives still apply. Haste and slow still count in background, but its cooldowns are not refreshing. And charge, which instantly reduces cooldown by set amount of seconds. Usually, it's being applied from other items and quickly charges those items into trigger. And final, but really impactful game mechanic is Enchants. These are rare upgrades for being put on top of item effects. Only one is available per item, not all are available for all items. I will give you some examples. Poison enchant. It would add 10% poison based on weapons damage, or maybe shielding what it does, or maybe healing what it does. So basically you can add almost all other mechanics on top of any item. There are some special ones like shiny. It makes your item go twice per cooldown. It adds multicast, and this is another mechanic for items, some items naturally have multicasts. You can of course always check all of those enchants on How Bazaar GG for details. And that's it. That's the core mechanics of Bazaar. Hopefully this saved you a bit of time compared to those half-hour tutorials. If it did, hit the like and subscribe for more Bazaar content. This was Free Happy Dolphin, and see you next time.